everybody, it's DJ NV, Charlamagne the guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got our co-host, Miss Pat, joining us today. Today's our last day. We're upset and sad about that.
Last day for now.
For now.
She'll be back. Whenever she want to play hooky, she could come play hooky with us.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
You always had that house you could go to when you cut school?
Yeah.
This that house.
This that house
I appreciate this house.
All right, well, let's get in some front page
built
news.
Right.
Now, Arizona launches an anti-woke education hotline. Tez, what does that mean?
Yes, everybody. Good morning, family. Thank you again for being here. Arizona's top education official, Tom Horn, launched a hotline this week for state residents to report K through 12 class curriculum and lessons that they deem inappropriate. Let's roll the tape and see what he had to say.
We've asked parents to call in when they become aware of inappropriate teaching. As you mentioned, that would include lessons that focus on race or ethnicity rather than individuals and merit, gender ideology, social emotional learning, or inappropriate sexual content. And then when we get those calls, we investigate them to see if there's inappropriate teaching that detracts from academics.
Why is social emotional learning wrapped up in that? We need social emotional learning. That's one of the things that my foundation, the Mental Wealth Alliance, is pushing to have in schools, social and emotional learning. That teaches you social and emotional skills, self-awareness, self-control that helps you in life. What's wrong with that?
Well, because it's really not about that. This really is connected to the critical race theory and what's happening in Florida. It's really, it's not about anything except race. And like you just heard the superintendent say, he wants to make sure that they are not detracted from teaching standards. They do not want things focused on race or ethnicity, and they want to focus more on the merits. Now, you heard a little bit of the clip, but in the longer interview from the clip that you heard, he went into, how bad woke academics was. He said that we are all brothers and sisters under the same skin and that race should not play a part of it. And he said that critical race theory is about making race primary and not pushing personal ideology. He also said that the majority of parents, outside of a few prank calls, but the majority of parents are excited about this. And to remind folks, he actually is a Republican that ran on this policy. His entire platform was centered on fighting critical race theory and stopping the liberal indoctrination of school children. So I'll throw it back to you guys. If the voters voted him in for this reason, and he said out right out the gate, I am going to stop wokeness. They voted him in, and they seem to be going along with this. So do you guys think it's too much? It's over the line? Is it really about race? What do you guys think?
I mean, when I saw the interview, he can explain everything, but I just want to know why social emotional learning is wrapped up in there. I know why everything else is wrapped up in there, but why he put SEL in there? What SEL got to do with race? What SEL got to do with gender identity?
He just want to make sure that the kids learn that the Native American gave the land to them white folks, and they didn't take it.
Correct.
So you got to use the right term, because my kids came home and said that. They would go to a white school. Oh, and my daughter slapped my niece and said, No, they took it. Don't you come in with that mess. We wasn't slaves. We was voluntarily living in the back of the land and cook every day, and the white man jumped on top of us and it was okay.
So they basically
they wanted to.
They want to continue to push the lies.
Correct.
They do. They don't want to scare their white kids.
Now we got to jump into Whoopi Goldberg. Now, Whoopi apologized for saying something on The View yesterday. She said, I'm very sorry.
Yeah, speaking of woke and what you can and cannot say, Whoopi Goldberg is apologizing yet again for comments she made on The View. Now, she and her co-workers were discussing possible criminal charges against former President Donald Trump in the alleged hush money scandal involving Stormy Daniels, and she used the word gypped. Take a listen and let's see what she had to say, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
The people who still believe that he got, gypped somehow in the election will still believe that he cared enough about his wife, to pay that money from his personal thing. But I just don't understand.
I didn't see. I never knew gypped was a word that would offend people.
Man,
for the week.
Yeah, why do we keep acting like words can't have more than one meaning? Why do we act like context doesn't matter? These folks don't understand our culture. Until yesterday, I didn't know gypped meant anything else other than somebody got over on me.
That's what I thought. And we've been saying it for years. I mean, I could have swear it's something that we said in school. He gypped us.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and she apologized for it. She said, I come. In fact, she talked about. She said, I come, basically paraphrasing, from a generation that used the word, and she meant no harm by it. And as you guys just mentioned, it is a informal verb that means to con, swindle, being robbed, defrauded. And I learned something. Yeah, it's a real word. It's a real word.
I thought we was using slang all these years.
I thought so too.
Yeah. No. Well, it's a slang. Well, it's a slang, an informal verb, because it is a verb.
Okay.
That means being robbed and defrauded. And the term is offensive to the Romanian people because they were once perceived as frauds and thieves. Now, when I was doing this,
it's a real N-word. Okay.
Stop, man. They gotta stop.
It is the N-word.
And speaking of the N-word, there's something else I didn't know. Have you guys heard, when I did a deep dive on this, have you ever heard of eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
Yes. Catch a nigga by his toe.
No, it's not a nigga.
Yes, it is. Originally, it was eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a nigga by his toe.
I didn't know that.
Because you don't read. You live in Hampton.
You didn't.
Shut up.
You don't remember that? Catch a nigga by the toe.
If he hollers out,
Charlamagne is right.
Many more.
Yeah, he's right. That is also deemed racist and offensive, because I wanted to really try to understand, like, why was Gypped offensive? So I did a deep dive and went down the rabbit hole on that. And you are exactly right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo meant catch a Negro by the toe.
Not Negro.
And that is deemed offensive. So apparently, guys, Gypped is another, I guess, thing on the list that offends a certain demographic. And, it caused Whoopi Goldberg to have to apologize yet again.
For what?
And yeah.
Hey, man, on behalf of Whoopi, SMD. We know what that means, right?
Not on behalf of Whoopi.
Okay, we know what that means, right?
I don't, but tell me when we get out the air.
You know what SMD means.
You know what that means.
Yes, man.
Oh, you said SUD.
Because we gotta stop acting like words can't have more than one meaning. We understand context matters. Y'all know she wasn't talking about nobody.
No.
She was using the word gypped for what it means.
I just used it yesterday.
I use it all the time.
Chick-fil-A only gave me one Polynesian sauce that I
you.
told my kids they gypped me.
But you had to pay for another one.
You're not about to talk about Chick-fil-A. They don't gyp it. They don't do that to anybody.
Now you're not gonna say gyp no more. Now, Pat, I know you. Now you about to stop. You gonna stop trying to say gyp?
I say gyp all the time.
Me too.
Man.
I say it, and I say it in the proper context. Is it in the dictionary? Tad, did you get that from the dictionary?
Yeah, it's literally.
Then I'm saying
yes.
Yes.
I don't want to hear that nonsense. Yes. I don't want to hear that nonsense. It's in the dictionary. Stop acting like words have just one meaning. They don't. Y'all know that context matters, even though if you don't know what context means.
No, I fought context. I just lost the
Character
context.
matters.
All right. Well, you got about 20 more seconds. I don't want to gyp you your time. You good?
I'm good.
All
I'll
right.
holler back at you next hour.
Well, that is front page news. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, hit us up right now. Phone lines are wide open. Again, 800-585-1051. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got our co-host, Miss Pat, with us. And it's time for front page news. Now we got Tez Figaro on the line.
Tezlyn Figaro, the hood whisperer.
Now, first I want to start off with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You know he sold his NBA championship rings for $2.8 million in an auction.
Not bad.
That is
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I mean, the reality is, what's the point of holding on to them?
And when you buy out of here anyway.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said. According to ESPN, Jabbar's 4 championship rings and other memorabilia were up for auction. And what I love about this story, such a feel-good story to me, is because he actually took the proceeds to donate it to his Skyhook Foundation in an effort to help kids who are interested in science, math, engineering, and technology. He went on to say that when it comes to choosing between storing a championship ring or trophy in a room or providing kids with an opportunity to change their lives, he said that the choice was pretty simple. He also went on to say, looking back on what he's done in his life, instead of gazing at the sparkle of jewels or gold-plated things that he did a long time ago, he says that he wants to make sure that he's impacting kids. He says that he no longer is personally attached to those items, and he wants to create new history for himself and the future of others. I just thought this was really, a dope story to talk about how he, gave all of that away, giving it to the kids, and actually being able to see the fruit that he's bearing.
That's real, because those rings are just symbols of something they can never take away from them anyway. You know what I mean? Right. So why not use that capital to help people? I think we all like that in certain ways. Like I know I'm a hoarder of a bunch of stuff, but that's because I ain't never had nothing. So I don't want to ever throw away things because I ain't never had nothing.
I mean, I don't have no trophies, so I guess I got old purses I don't need.
You gonna get some trophies for your TV show.
I'm surprised. I don't know if he sold all of them or what he sold, because I would still want something to get to my kids, so my kids can have, so they can give to their grandkids. It's something
Give the kids that money. Pass that capital down. I don't care about no damn rings.
Well, he gave it 2.8 away he gave it to charity.
Yeah,
so.
it's charity. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that was his
Would you
charity.
buy it? Would you buy it? What would be the most you would buy for something like that, like for your favorite player? One of the former Cowboys, Charlamagne. What would you break bread and spend? I think one thing went for like $60,000.
No, I wouldn't.
No.
If I wasn't playing, I wouldn't want it. Like,
No.
What you saying? Forget them kids, even if it went to charity.
Nope. I got a Dallas Cowboy football at the house that all of them signed, though, like Dak Prescott. I got a Tony Romo jersey signed. Karen Civil got me that.
But they don't mean nothing because they didn't.
I mean, they mean something to me, but I mean,
they're not worth nothing.
They're just for his wall.
Tez, they're not worth nothing.
Yeah.
They
I
for
knew the
wall.
Cowboys dig was coming.
You
That's
know
why I
that.
threw it out
They
there.
for the wall.
Now, the New York City Mayor Eric Adams. What's going on with Eric Adams?
He dancing.
Yes.
He got a hangover right now. Just left the club.
Yo, shut up, man.
Well, you said he left the club. Well, on this particular story, he is pushing his Christianity hard. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said, forget all of that First Amendment mess y'all talking about. He said he is not separating church and state. While he was attending an interfaith breakfast at the New York Public Library, he said in a speech that he walks and talks with the Lord and he will always be a child of God. He said he cannot separate his religious beliefs from him being mayor. I mean, flat out said it. In fact, he told the audience that don't tell me to separate church and state, because state is the body, church is the heart, and if you take the heart out the body dies. He said, I cannot separate my belief because I'm an elected official. He said that when he puts policies in place, he does it with a God-like approach. He said he's always a child of God. He will not apologize for that. And then he went on to say, when we took prayer out of schools, that is when the guns came in. Now, that can be debated, but that is his position. And so I guess maybe that explains why he is going full Old Testament on his tough on crime. So even though he was in front of religious leaders, a lot of people objected to it and said that he needs a refresher on the First Amendment.
Question, Tez, have you ever met a godly politician? Like, seriously, like when we read scripture and we see how they be out here governing, have you ever really met a godly politician?
I have. Joe Osteen.
Depends on what day. Depends on what
Osteen ain't no
audience they're talking.
politician, Pat. Have
He
you ever,
is. He over there talking crap, getting that money.
have you ever met one, Tez, a godly politician?
Well, even if they are, the bottom line is when you swear in, it's not about your personal ideology or your personal. So people got to figure it out. Do you want to, just like we talked about in the other hour, do you want people to push their personal ideology or do you want them to stick to the Constitution? So you can't pick and choose. So even if he was godly or the worst sinner on earth, you are sworn in to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Shout out to all my veterans in the building. I'm a veteran. So it's not about whether he's godly or not. First Amendment says separate church and state, and that's just what it is. And if you don't want to separate it, then go to the pulpit.
That's real, because the same could be for people who like are white supremacists. You don't want them bringing that ideology to the
Absolutely, and they do, and they pick and choose. When they're going to be a Christian, when they're not going to be a Christian, and so it just muddies the water.
Word.
I'm never a Christian. It costs too much.
What?
It costs too much to be a Christian. You go to church, every time you stand up, they pass a collection plate. So I just quit.
Every time you talk, I say I'm gonna pray for Miss Pat. I'm gonna stop now.
You gonna stop now?
I'm gonna stop. Hey, salute to you too, Tez. Tez is getting an award tonight, man. You're getting the Champion of Change Award from the UCLA Black Law Student Association, right?
Yes, I am.
Congratulations.
You don't mind.
Black girl magic.
Yes.
Drop a bomb for Tez.
Yes.
I know that speech gonna be fire.
Yeah, and I just want to, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to sit up here this week. I always, Charlamagne, I'm a spiritual person. I'm a sinner, but I'm a very spiritual person, and I believe everything happens for a reason. And I just wanted to inspire everybody just for a second. If you can hear the sound of my voice, you may be driving into a job that may not align with your purpose. And I just want you to know to keep driving, keep pushing. I've done it all, from Uber driving, sweeping floors, cleaning toilets, selling shoes, you name it. I've been on the bottom. I've been on the top. My daddy, my mother, my brother, most of my immediate family's in the ground. No one has put me in this business. In fact, I've been put out of more rooms that I've been put in. And so I will be accepting this award tonight on the third month, on the 16th day. My mother died in the third month in 2016.
Wow.
So that is confirmation to me that my guardian angel is saying I have a testimony in my tests. I believe that it is definitely orchestrated, that I've been here with you all week long, listening to Miss Pat's story and how your girl done made it. So shout out to all my survivors out there that got it out the mud. Know that I see you. I'm listening, and this is for us.
Teslin Figaro, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Straight Shot No Chaser podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network, too. Congratulations, Tez.
Absolutely.
Girl, you just gave me chills.
That's right.
Hey.
And don't stay out too late because we need you tomorrow morning.
Right. I'm on West Coast time, y'all, so it's like 3 a.m. here.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tez.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right. When we come back, we're going to be kicking it with John Legend. John Legend will be joining us, so don't move. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up
early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.